Stover Scholars hosted a student speak.
And Waynesburg's blood drive was a success. Welcome back to Channel 14 News. I'm Rachel Mangan.
And I'm Mitch Montani. Students gathered in third floor Stover this past Friday for free pizza, drinks, and political discourse. The Stover Scholars hosted a student speak about the upcoming midterm election, from federal seats to governor races throughout the country. Along with learning about upcoming elections, they also had the opportunity to voice their own opinions about the state government. It was the first in a series of student speaks that will be held throughout the school year. Follow the toilet paper for upcoming topics.
Last week, some very generous students donated blood. Mitch Montani was there to check it out.
Generous students helped to give back by giving blood last Thursday. Donations were given in the third floor of Stover Center from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. All donations were given to Central Blood Bank. From start to finish, the process took roughly 45 minutes to donate. After donating, students were monitored by the blood drive staff and given snacks to help regain lost blood cells. They were also advised to take the elevator and not the stairs after departing the third floor. The Central Blood Bank thanks all donating students for their help in giving blood during the effort. For WCTV News, I'm Mitch Montani. As always, bingo night at Waynesburg was a hit. WCTV's Sam Hickson was there to check it out.
Students and faculty gathered in the Beehive on Wednesday to play some bingo. Students were eligible to win a lot of cool prizes and got to spend some quality time with the community of Waynesburg University. Everyone got their popcorn kernels and bingo cards, and Pat Brister announced numbers for dozens of students who were eager to exclaim, "Bingo!" And believe me when I say there was no shortage of winners. The Student Activities Board had a lot of prizes to give out and a lot of great times to share.
It's really competitive in there. You could feel it in the air. It's just insane. Everybody's yelling bingo left and right.
For WCTV, I'm Sam Hickson reporting.
Students who attended Woo Voice Round 2 were treated with some awesome performances. WCTV's Colin McLaughlin has more.
Woo Voice was held last Friday night, and the 4 teams came out firing, especially the first team, which was coached by Josh Bepler. Their team name was literally Girls on Fire.
So my team's the Girls on Fire. Our theme tonight was women empowerment. So I was supposed to dress the part. That's tough to do. But I think my team overall, they personified women empowerment with their voices, their performances. Just really a strong performance overall. And I think Jody and Kayla, super excited to see them go through. Louise gave a really strong performance, so sad to see her go. But I think Kayla and Jody both have a really great shot to win next week.
The next team was Team Scrubs, coached by Liz DeVinny. The reason they were Team Scrubs was because Megan, Emily, and Jonah were all nursing majors.
I think my team kicked butt. We're the only team with all 3 competitors coming in to the final round, so they're very dedicated, much like most nursing majors.
The Wildmats only consisted of 2 people instead of 3 due to Holly Hendershot being sick. They still stole the show with songs that the crowd could all sing along to.
Matt and Heidi took to the stage and really owned it. To put on the performance they did tonight puts the Wildmats in a great position, and I'm just so grateful for this coaching opportunity.
Lastly was Team Melt, who also only had 2 people, but still did very well on stage. Emily Stevenson and Megan Cook were the 2 left and also able to move on to the final round.
I think they did fantastic. I think Megan and Emily both picked songs that were perfectly showcased their voices. I'm excited to see what they come out with next week.
At the end, the votes were counted up and the crowd was entertained by all the contestants singing Greatest Show. Matt House stole the show with a shark hit. For WCTV News, this has been Colin McLaughlin reporting.
Everyone loves Taco Tuesday, and last night, Waynesburg University joined in on the fun. Students filled the Beehive to enjoy a free taco bar and beverages. Everyone enjoyed the food while listening to Nelly's Echo perform. Free food and music is always the way to a college student's heart. But don't go anywhere, news around the nation coming up next on Channel 14 News.
Morganti. I'm standing outside of Hannah Hall here at Waynesburg University. It's currently 77 degrees and sunny, an absolutely beautiful day here on the campus of Waynesburg. After seeing rain the first 2 days of the week, it should stay dry for the remainder of the day. You can be seeing rain later on this week and going in the beginning of next week, so stay tuned here for your 5-day weather forecast on WCTV Channel 14 News.
Back in 7th grade, a kid from England used to drop books on my head.
When I was little, a kid used to lock me in the closet for hours.
Back in middle school, I got made fun of for my weight.
I used to get bullied in elementary school because of my height.
Back when I was in high school, I used to, push kids into lockers, make them buy me chips, stuff like that, but I've regretted it ever since.
Authorities are investigating the cause of a bus rollover crash on a Texas highway. It happened Saturday afternoon northwest of Austin. There were dozens of people on board the school bus, including 24 children. Girls ages 10 and 11, 2 teachers, a principal, and the driver were also traveling. The bus was headed for a visit to SeaWorld in San Antonio when the driver lost control. The children on board were taken to a number of area hospitals, with many sustaining head injuries. None of the injuries were called critical. A second bus in the caravan carrying young boys was not involved in the accident. Judge Brett Kavanaugh's quest for the Supreme Court remains in limbo. As the FBI looks into his past, more comments, positive and negative, emerge. John Lornick reports.
More plot twists in the Brett Kavanaugh soap opera. Among the latest, Kavanaugh was accused of starting a bar fight in 1985 while he was a Yale student. New Haven police say tensions flared after Kavanaugh allegedly threw ice at someone.
When he was asked by the officers whether or not he did it, he would not state yes or no.
The police report doesn't indicate whether anyone was arrested. Even some critics of Kavanaugh say his drinking in the past shouldn't disqualify him from the Supreme Court, but they say his words might.
He has painted himself as a choir boy who never engaged in any of this behavior, and all of the evidence seems to go the other way.
President Trump says Kavanaugh is being attacked unfairly by the Democrats.
They've been trying to destroy him since the very first second he was announced because they know that Judge Kavanaugh will follow the Constitution as written. That's been his history.
Judge Kavanaugh's nomination is out of committee. We're considering it here on the floor, and Mr. President will be voting this week.
One person who will play a major factor in that vote? Republican Senator Jeff Flake, who triggered the latest investigation into Kavanaugh.
Decency shouldn't be that hard, but it apparently is. The politics of vengeance, that's easy. Dehumanization requires very little talent.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Kavanaugh hasn't commented on the latest allegations. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders tweeted Monday night, blasting a New York Times report on the 1985 bar fight as a, quote, ridiculous story, end quote. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is headed to North Korea with plans to meet with Kim Jong-un on Sunday. He's expected to lay the groundwork for a second summit between Kim Jong-un and President Trump. Of course, the issue at hand is North Korea's denuclearization, with either North Korea has made any substantial changes on that front is unclear, but Trump and Pompeo have been telegraphing the possibility of a second summit for several weeks now. In the meantime, U.S. officials have expressed frustration at North Korea's evasion of sanctions, but Pompeo and Trump have said that the U.S. campaign to exert maximum pressure on Pyongyang will continue, and Trump has repeatedly claimed progress. Pompeo will also travel to Japan, South Korea, and China on his swing through Asia. Crews in North Carolina are searching the Smoky Mountains National Park for a woman who went missing last week. 53-year-old Mitzi Sue Susan Clements was last seen hiking with her daughter on September 25th when they became separated on the Forney Ridge Trail. A chopper search was suspended Tuesday because of a heavy fog, but park officials say they aren't giving up. About 100 people were on the ground searching, and dog teams were also sent out on the trails. Tuesday marked day 7 of the search.
Teens who get less sleep are more likely to engage in risky and suicidal behavior, according to a new study. Researchers used data from the Youth Risk Behavior Survey from 2007 to 2015, which explored behaviors related to health risks in American youth. They found teens who slept for less than 6 hours per night were 3 times more likely to consider suicide, plan a suicide, or attempt suicide. That's all compared to teens who slept 8 hours or more. Researchers say 70% of high school students get less than the recommended 8 hours of sleep. Other unsafe behaviors tied to less sleep include drunk driving, potentially unsafe sexual activity, aggressive behavior, and use of alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. You can read more in Monday's journal, JAMA Pediatrics. A new government watchdog report says the Trump administration's family separation policy had major problems. Natasha Chen explains why Homeland Security says the report is flawed.
In June, images of children separated from their parents at the border haunted both public and elected officials. A new report from the Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security says DHS was not ready to implement President Trump's zero-tolerance policy on immigration or deal with the dire consequences. The report says Customs and Border Patrol detained 861 children who'd been separated from their parents for longer than the legally allowed 72-hour period. DHS also struggled to identify, track, and reunify families due to limitations with its information technology systems. DHS provided inconsistent information to people who arrived with children, so some parents didn't understand they'd be separated from their kids or be unable to communicate with them once they'd been separated. In a memo, DHS defended the actions of Customs and Border Patrol and blamed another agency, Health and Human Services, for detention delays. A DHS spokesperson says it's difficult to enforce broken immigration laws. Quote, "This administration will no longer turn a blind eye to illegal immigration and will continue to refer illegal border crossers for prosecution. We are committed to enforcing the rule of law." The administration had reversed course on family separations by June 20th. As of last week, the government still has custody of 355 children separated from their parents. In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen.
On Tuesday, a contractor running a temporary shelter in Tornillo, Texas, said the facility is still housing at least 1,600 children. These are mostly children who came across the border by themselves and were not separated from their parents. Rescuers are continuing to sift through rubble looking for survivors, 4 days after a powerful earthquake and tsunami battered Indonesia's Sulawesi Island. The quake and tsunami killed more than 840 people, and that number is expected to rise. Authorities are burying bodies in mass graves to prevent disease from spreading, but bodies still line some streets. Hundreds of people are injured, thousands of homes are gone, and food and medical supplies and fuel are all running extremely low. This cell phone video shows scores of people lined at a gas station waiting for their chance to fill their tanks. President Trump allegedly wanted to get a restraining order against adult film actress Stormy Daniels. A source tells CNN that in February, the president told his then personal attorney Michael Cohen to seek the order against Daniels. He was apparently concerned that she was contemplating a media interview. The alleged phone conversation happened months after Daniels had signed a hush agreement to stay quiet about an alleged affair with the president. The Wall Street Journal first reported Trump's involvement. An arbitrator went on to privately issue a restraining order against Daniels. She ignored it and did an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes. That's it from News Around the Nation. When we return, Riley Holsinger will tell you why applying for financial aid may be easier.
The Ava K. Bowlby Public Library has provided service to the Gray County community for over 75 years. One of the services provided is a free tutoring program for children and youth. Waynesburg University students participate in this program, helping out children from the Greene County area.
I think it's a really good program to help the local kids and the community kids, and just so that they're around university students and college kids that they can look up to. I think the library is pretty great for the community. I think it's pretty essential for the young kids.
And I love coming here to hang out with kids who have a heart of pure joy. Coming here is really relaxing, and you literally just get to act like a kid with them and help them throughout the way.
I'm Riley Holsinger with your business and entertainment update for Channel 14 WCTV. Monday was the first day college-bound students could apply for FAFSA, and this year, the free application for federal student aid is going mobile and making the process easier than ever. In today's Consumer Watch, Kim Hutcherson has a closer look at the new digital tools available.
Applying for financial aid just got easier. For the first time ever, college hopefuls can fill out their FAFSAs on a mobile app. According to the National College Access Network, only 61% of high school students apply, leaving more than $24 billion in state and federal aid on the table. This year, the Education Department is making the process a lot smoother. The form is now available through the brand new My Student Aid app. The FAFSA website is also sporting a new mobile-friendly design that's easier to use on a smartphone or tablet. But here's one thing that hasn't changed: the number of questions. You can still expect to answer all 100 of them. However, the Department of Education says it's arranged them differently to help you navigate through the website. Assistance is available on a first-come, first-served basis, so experts recommend you submit the form as early as possible. They also say the changes will likely encourage students to fill out the form themselves instead of asking their parents. Current and prospective college students have until the last day of the academic year to submit their FAFSA. For Consumer Watch, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Deadlines vary depending on your state and college deadlines. Experts recommend you do your research to make sure you submit the FAFSA on time. If you can't pick up your groceries from Kroger, the grocery chain is testing out another option. Kroger is teaming up with Walgreens for a new pilot program. Under this program, customers will be able to order Kroger items online and pick them up at Walgreens. Grocery items under Kroger's brand will also be available in select Walgreens locations. That includes Kroger's organic brand, Simple Truth. Right now, the retailers are only rolling out the experiment at 13 Northern Kentucky Walgreens stores. No word on if the pilot could expand, but the companies say they will closely watch the program over the next several months. Amazon announced it is raising its minimum wage to $15 an hour for all U.S. workers. Compare that to the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. The change applies to full-time, part-time, and temporary workers. Amazon says the $15 minimum wage will benefit more than 250,000 Amazon employees and 100,000 seasonal workers. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos says, quote, "We're excited about this change and encourage our competitors and other large employers to join us," end quote. The hike becomes effective November 1st. A famous rapper is in the spotlight, but it has nothing to do with her music. Fans cheered on Cardi B moments after she was released by police in New York Monday. She turned herself in for questioning, accused of being involved in a fight at a strip club. We're told the fight happened a little more than a month ago in Queens. Police say the rapper and her entourage got into an argument with club employees, apparently over suspicion that Cardi B's husband was cheating with one of the women. Police say chairs were thrown along with some bottles. 2 bartenders were hit, but luckily their injuries were minor. Right now it's unclear exactly what role the rapper played in the fight, but she's facing charges of reckless endangerment and assault. Cardi B is due back in court October 29th. Today's Hollywood Minute features a trio of music men, one on the big screen, one on tour, and another one who's offering quite a trip. David Daniel has that.
Here's your first look at Taron Egerton as music legend Elton John in Rocket Man. Billed as based on a true fantasy, Rocket Man takes off next summer. John Legend has the Christmas spirit. The recently crowned EGOT winner has announced his first Christmas album with a tour to go with it. A Legendary Christmas hits stores October 26th. The 25-date tour launches November 15th in Clearwater, Florida, and wraps up December 30th in San Diego, California. More details at johnlegend.com. Puerto Rico! Lin-Manuel Miranda wants you. Donate $10 or more through Prizeo to help revitalize the arts in Puerto Rico, and you could win a trip to San Juan to see Miranda reprise his Hamilton starring role in his ancestral homeland. You'll hit the after party with the cast and have a cooler story than any of your Hamilton-loving friends. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That's all for business and entertainment. Coming up next is Sam Hickson with your sports update.
Stop the press. The Yellow Jackets have won two games in a row. They beat Teal 24-21 and now have a chance to play some meaningful football down the stretch. As for the game on Saturday, Waynesburg started off with a 7-play, 69-yard drive to set up a Garrett Horn field goal that would stand tall until the 5-minute mark in the first quarter. That's when Josh Page caught a ball and dashed 22 yards for a score and a 7-3 Teal lead. Teal would extend that lead further just a short 2 minutes later when Damon Smith hit David Pugh for a quick 39-yard strike. Things were looking bleak for the Jackets, a scene they had been through so many times over the past couple seasons. 14-3 deficit, offense stalling. It's about quitting time, right? But wait, I've seen that fish before. It's Tyler Perrone. 1 week after leading a comeback against Geneva, Tyler Perrone got the offense going against Teal. Perrone led a 9-play drive that would be capped off by the arm of someone not wearing number 12. Nick Moretti threw a touchdown pass to Chad Walker from 5 yards out to cut the deficit to 4 points. It was a short 4 minutes later when Nick Moretti went from throwing the ball to catching it. The Jackets dialed up the long ball and scored from 72 yards out to give themselves their second lead of the day at 17-14. Scoring would cease until the fourth quarter when Waynesburg orchestrated another long drive that would go for 11 plays and 80 yards. The Jackets would cap off that drive with a Chad Walker touchdown run that gave them the lead for good. Teal added one more touchdown late in the game, but that was all, and Waynesburg closed up shop with a final score of 24-21. They now move to 2-3 on the season. They have a pivotal matchup for homecoming Saturday against Carnegie Mellon, who is 2-2. Jack Hillgrove and I will be calling the action on WCYJ-FM, while Paul Zalakar and Luke Goodling are on Channel 14. Kickoff is at 1:30. Well, the men's soccer team kicked off PAC play in grand fashion by throttling St. Vincent 6-0. They were certainly not at a loss for shots. They totaled 21 compared to St. Vincent's 6 shots. Waynesburg jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first half, highlighted by Daniel Hott's header in the 29th minute that trickled by goaltender Nick Bond. The floodgates opened in the second half, and Waynesburg scored 4 goals in 27 minutes to polish off the Bearcats to pick up their 4th win of the young season. Jackets are playing the Westminster Titans as we speak, and after that, they will play Bethany at home next Wednesday. Well, it appears DJ Collard was at John F. Wiley Stadium on Saturday because all the soccer teams did was win. The women also got a win and did so rather methodically. The Jackets took an early 1-0 lead on Alicia Wagner goal 10 minutes in, and they never looked back. They would add an Emily Hill header off a free kick and take a 2-0 halftime lead into the locker room. And after that, Wagner would add another goal, and Gina Bonuro would close out the scoring to give Waynesburg their 5th victory of the season. The women's next game after today's contest against Westminster is against the Bethany Bison next Wednesday. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams were not in action this past weekend, but they will participate in the Sales Invitational at 10:30 on Saturday. Both teams are coming off a very successful outing at the Waynesburg Invitational. The women's tennis team seemed to be the only team that had a rough weekend. They were swept twice by Mount Aloysius and PAC rival Westminster. They dropped both matches by a score of 9-0 to fall to a record of 2-5. Waynesburg has a crucial conference matchup with Washington and Jefferson next Wednesday in Washington. And that's all for sports. Coming up next, Adam Organi with your 5-day weather forecast.
Rough day, huh? Hey, rough day, huh? Maybe this will make you feel better. I made some apple fritters. Welcome home.
Thank you. I really needed this today.
There are little things that you can do to help you when you're driving a car, but the one thing that you shouldn't do when driving a car is texting and driving. In fact, at any given time throughout the day, approximately 660,000 drivers are attempting to use their phones while behind the wheel of an automobile. And 11 teens die every day as a result of texting while driving. According to the National Safety Council, 25% of all automobile crashes are related to cell phone use. Don't text and drive.
We're back here on WCTV Channel 14 News. I'm Adam Morganti with your 5-day weather forecast. After having a tornado warning yesterday here at Waynesburg, you shouldn't be expecting any more tornado warnings anytime soon. It's been rainy the past 2 days to start this week, but today has been absolutely gorgeous as we've seen sunny skies, and it's currently 77 degrees, and it should stay dry for the rest of the day going into the evening. Now, here, check out your 5-day weather forecast.
The high for today is 76 degrees, and the low will be 66 degrees. Thursday, the rain will unfortunately stick around as we have an 80% chance of rain and thunderstorms. The high will reach an unseasonably warm 80 degrees, and the low will be 57 degrees. On Friday, it will be a different story compared to the past 2 days. The sun will finally peek out of the clouds, and the high will be 74 degrees, and the low will be 64 degrees, which is perfect weather if you plan on going to any high school football games. Saturday is a big day for Waynesburg as it is homecoming. Expect rain throughout the day as there will be a slight chance of showers and storms. The high will be 83 degrees and the low will be 66 degrees. So make sure if you're running in the 5K or going to the Waynesburg football game, you have rain gear with you. On Sunday, expect almost the same exact forecast as Saturday with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms and a high of 83 degrees along with a low of 67 degrees. On Monday, the trend of rain will still take place as there is a 30% chance of isolated thunderstorms with a high of 81 degrees and a low of 67 degrees. Whether you're partaking in any homecoming festivities on Saturday or walking around Waynesburg's campus throughout the next couple of days, make sure you have plenty of rain gear handy.
Well, Adam, it looks like we're going to have a rainy homecoming, but Waynesburg has a chance to make it 3 wins in a row. Do you think they do it?
Yes, I have all the confidence in the world. I do think they will win 3 games in a row. Even though it is supposed to be a little rainy, I do have confidence in our Jackets.
They lost to CMU last year, so hopefully they can pull this one out this year.
Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday at 5. Have a good night, everyone.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.